Welcome to the TheDPost Sports Chat. I'm Drew Rubenstein. I'm with Justin Jackson, our WVU men's basketball beat reporter. And the Mountaineers just opened up practice this week, Justin, and Bob Huggins' squad returns not very many players off of what was one of his worst seasons of his coaching career, a 13-19 season. Quite a few guys transferred out, quite a few new guys coming in. Does Huggins like the remade shuffle or the remade roster here?
He's got 5 guys coming back from last year and brought in 6 new recruits. And during his press conference on Monday, it's going to be it's going to take us some time to get those new guys to work in with the old guys, and then trying to get them all to work together to fit into a Big 12 team, which is the one thing Huggins has talked about, is that you can't play Big East style of basketball with against Big 12 teams. You got to have the power forwards and the small forwards be more of a guard than a big bruising guy that you had in the Big East. So that's going to be kind of the transition that Huggins is going to try to take this year with this team, and as he moves the program forward.
Do you think he has the pieces in place to do that, or is it going to take a few more recruiting classes to really get there?
Well, I mean, that's kind of the big question. When Huggins was talking at his press conference on Monday, he was talking about something. He brought in 6 guys this year, 6 recruits, 4 freshmen and 2 junior college guys. And the one thing he kept saying is that they are capable of making shots, making the outside shots, stretching the defenses, which is what you see in the Big 12. And now, it's one thing to do it in practice, and it's another thing to do it when Oklahoma is running at you or Kansas is running at you. And that's the big question. We won't know until the season starts whether or not they can make these shots consistently enough at the college level. But as of right now in practice, from what he's seen, Huggins says they are capable of making shots. He likes the fact that they can stretch a defense, and so far so good.
Numbers-wise, they are under the limit. Jonathan Holton, will find out later this week whether or not he's able to play. Even if he does, though, as you mentioned, that's 10 scholarship players. The max is 13.
Right.
Just having that lack of depth, how concerning is that?
Well, if you listen to what Coach Huggins is saying, you find a positive with it. Sometimes it's nice to have depth. But what he was saying in his press conference on Monday was that when you have a lot of depth, you got to coach a lot of guys, and sometimes when you only have a few guys, you get to work with them more, and you just kind of keep your fingers crossed and hope that you don't have injuries. But you give those 2 or 3 guys more coaching time, you get to work with them more, and maybe they develop a little bit more if you had 5 or 6 guys to work with at 1 or 2 positions. And that, that's kind of the spin that he's going with this year. As far as eligibility, one of the freshmen, Elijah Macon, has been ruled out for the season, so that's 1 scholarship drop from the roster. Like you said, Jonathan Holton, they're hoping by the end of the week, as a matter of his transcripts, how many hours carry over. He enrolled. He was eligible to enroll in the school, but whether or not he is eligible to play is a whole different scenario. So they're kind of waiting to see with the NCAA. They're looking at his transcripts, seeing how many hours he can actually carry over and if he will be eligible to play. Hopefully, Huggins said by the end of the week they'll know.
And I get what Huggins is saying, what you're saying about the roster, and ultimately a team wants to get into an 8 or 9 man rotation, so you can get that. That said, you have to have the right pieces who can play significant minutes. I guess Aaron Harris and Terry Henderson would come to mind, who are some guys who are just going to have to carry a bigger burden, and they're not going to have any question. They're going to have to do it for WVU to be successful.
Well, you just said the 2 guys right there, Henderson and Harris. I mean, they're only sophomores, but they're going to have to play like upperclassmen. I mean, they just can't average 8-9 points a game like they did last year. Henderson shot 48% from 3-point range, and he can shoot. He dealt with injury problems last year, but then started to play well towards the end of the season again, like he had played earlier in the season. Harris was really consistent towards the end of the season, except for the 1 bad outing against Kansas. Those 2 are going to have to be more consistent, double-figure scores, upwards of 15, 16 points a game maybe. You hope maybe Jawan Staten can develop a little bit more, shoot from the outside and become a little bit more of an offensive threat. And then, Gary Brown is your other experienced player in the backcourt. But ultimately, you're going to need some of these freshmen, Nate Adrian from Morgantown, or Devin Williams, or Remy Debo's the other junior college transfer. They'll probably look for him to do some scoring, and he's another one of the guys that Huggins said could make shots, stretch teams out to the 3-point line. So I mean, it's going to be Henderson and Harris, and then it's going to be who else, and that's where they stand. They're finding out who else. That's what a lot of practice time will be used for, is finding out who was going to go with those two guys.
You mentioned some of the new players in the last one here. Do they have a sense? Do you think Huggins has a sense which of the new players can fit in right away? Maybe even find a spot into the starting rotation, or is he really trying to figure that out? Is he not sure at this point?
You'll have to wait and see what Holton, what the decision is on Jonathan. If he is eligible to play, I think you could pencil him in. Remy Deba, the other junior college guy, will probably get a lot of playing time. Whether or not he starts, we'll see. If Holton isn't eligible, then Remy Debo suddenly becomes a big guy. You have 4 guys to fill the 1, 2, and 3 spots, and that's Harris, Henderson, Gary Brown, and Jawan Staten. So 4 guys to fill 3 spots. That's a lot of playing time for those 4 guys, and they'll rotate in and out at different spots. Aaron Harris has been working to play the point guard, so you might see Aaron playing point guard and Terry Henderson and Gary Brown in at the same time, or Jawan Staten will fit in there as well. Nate Adrian, Huggins said at his press conference, could also play at the small forward position. So you're going to see a lot of the pressure being put on the 4 guards, and then again, it comes down to whether or not Holton is eligible, and Remy Debo will factor in there as well.
You can't forget Kevin Noreen.
Yeah, Kevin.
Well.
Yeah, I mean, and Kevin is a guy that Huggins talked about. So, he's the one guy that really knows what he's doing, and sure, he may not go out and average 20 points a game, but he can help some of these other guys fit into the system, and he can help get some of these guys open and get them comfortable in the offense. So yeah, I mean, Kevin, while it may not be scoring, will play a big role in the offense, certainly a lot bigger than what he's played in the previous years.
Absolutely. Justin, appreciate your time, and we'll continue to check up on the Mountaineers throughout the off-season training and leading up to the November 8th opener. Thanks for tuning in, and please continue to check TheDPost.com for all the latest on the Mountaineers.